All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle one of the biggest questions out there. How do you actually build real, lasting financial independence? We're going to break down a super powerful framework for building what we'll call your rich life. You know this feeling, right? You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you rinse and repeat. It feels like you're just stuck, trapped in this financial matrix. You see other people out there living these incredible lives, and you just think, how on earth do I get out? But here's a thought. What if the key to escaping isn't just about chasing a bigger paycheck or finding that one magic stock? What if the whole journey actually starts with a totally different way of thinking, a different question altogether? Okay, let's get into it. The first step, and this is absolutely the most important one, it has nothing to do with spreadsheets or budgets. It's about figuring out your personal why. I mean, what's all this for anyway? Author Ramit Sethi just nails it right here. He argues that a rich life isn't some universal number, like, I need $1 million. Nope. It's a deeply personal vision. And if you don't know what that vision is, you're just going to keep chasing the next dollar forever, and you'll never actually feel free. So how do you even begin to define it? Well, you start right here. Forget the budget for a minute. Think about your ideal life. How do you want to feel? Who do you want to share all your success with? Answering these kinds of questions, that's the real first step to building a financial system that actually works for you. All right, so once you know where you're going, you've got to build a solid foundation to launch from, right? This part is all about security and stability, and honestly, it's non-negotiable, no matter how much you make. And you know what the number one wrecking ball to that foundation is? High-interest debt. We're talking about things like credit cards, which are literally designed to work against you, day in and day out. And this quote from Sethi just illustrates the urgency perfectly. He says it's like your house is on fire. I mean, think about that. You're not going to be picking out new curtains while the living room is in flames, are you? No way. You drop everything to put out the fire. That's exactly what this kind of debt is. It's an emergency. Let's put a real number on this, because it's pretty shocking. Almost 27%. That's a common credit card interest rate. Now think about it. You might get, a 7 to 10% return from the stock market in a good year? But with this debt, you are guaranteed to lose 27%. It is financially impossible to move forward while that fire is still burning. So here's the game plan. It's a two-step punch. First, you've got to treat that debt like a 5-alarm fire. Attack it. Get rid of it. Then, step 2, build yourself a safety net, an emergency fund with enough to cover your basic expenses for 3 to 6 months. This is your buffer when life, does its thing. Okay, the foundation's secure. The fire is out. Now let's open up the toolbox and look at what we're going to use to actually build on top of it. These are the essentials for your journey. First up, and honestly, this is the closest thing to real-life magic, compound interest. It's a simple idea, right? Your money makes money, and then the money that money made starts making its own money. It's a snowball effect, and it is how real wealth is built over time. And just look at this chart. This is wild. You take one single dollar, let it cook at a 10% return, and in 20 years, it's almost $7. That is the incredible power of just getting started and letting time do all the heavy lifting for you. But, compounding only works if you're putting your money in the right places. So how do you decide what's a good investment? Well, that's where our next tool comes in. It's called Net Present Value, or NPV for short. Basically, it helps you figure out if an investment is a good idea by looking at its future earnings in today's dollars. The rule of thumb? Super simple. If the NPV is positive, it's probably a green light. Let's use a really simple, down-to-earth example. Say you're thinking about buying a vending machine for $10,000. Over the next 4 years, it brings in all this cash. So when you run the numbers using NPV, you find out its value today is over $4,700. Since that number is positive, you know what that means? Yep, this vending machine is a solid investment. It's something that will actually help you build that rich life. And finally, let's talk about the main vehicles you're going to be driving on this journey: stocks and bonds. Here's the easiest way to think about it. Stocks are like owning a piece of the pie. You're a part owner of a company. That means higher risk, but also much higher potential rewards. Bonds, on the other hand, are like being the bank. You're just lending money out, it's safer, the returns are more predictable, and most smart portfolios use a healthy mix of both. Okay, so you've got your why, you've got your foundation, and you've got your tools. Now comes a really interesting part. You get to choose your path. And broadly speaking, there are two main ways to go about this. First, you've got the investor path. This is the classic, time-tested route. You get a job, you invest a chunk of your salary every single month, and you let that magic of compound interest do its thing over decades. Then there's the creator path. This is a bit more of a modern playbook. You build something, a side hustle, a personal brand, and you scale it into a full-blown business. And if you want to see the insane power of the creator path in action, just look at this timeline for Sharon Hedge. It is unbelievable. In just 5 years, he went from an analyst making a pretty standard salary to building a fintech company, managing a massive amount of money. It just shows you how fast this path can accelerate things in today's world. And what's amazing is he boils his whole strategy down into this simple 3-step blueprint. 1. Get really, really good at one specific thing. Just master it. 2. Start sharing that knowledge. Create content, build a community of people who care about it. And 3, turn that expertise into a product or service that genuinely solves a problem for that community. So whether you're a slow and steady investor, a fast-moving creator, or maybe a little bit of both, it all comes back to the same place, the end game.
And this right here, this is the whole point. The goal isn't just to have a giant pile of cash. True wealth, real freedom, is when your entire financial system, your job, your savings, your investments, is all working together in perfect harmony to fund the life you actually want to live. It's when your money serves your vision, not the other way around.
So I want to leave you with this. Let's forget about the goal of just getting rich for a second. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, what does my rich life look like? What does it feel like? And what is one tiny thing I can do today to start building it?